Alright, I'll just get right to it. Yes, I think summoning builds are actually viable in Arena. However, I don't think it's actually viable in Versus. I think the strength of summoning builds is typically rounds like 9 through 14 or 15, but it tends to really struggle in the late game when everything is a 50-50, and there's also things like Tiger Leopard that exist because those kind of destroy summoning builds. But horses are actually also pretty good early on. Those can win you the first couple rounds, but typically I think summoning builds also struggle a bit in the mid game, like rounds 4 through like 8, I suppose. You know, it can vary depending on when you get a turkey. If you get early turkey, then I guess that can kind of save you. But I think horses kind of fall off pretty hard, and even though it goes pretty well with like sheep, I don't think it's still going to carry you. So I would recommend pivoting off of horses, or just not even going horses if the shop doesn't give you it, and then just transitioning into a summoning build later. One of the things that works pretty well that I've found is you buy a parrot and you buy a deer, and then you can parrot a deer, and that will typically win you those middle rounds. It's just really good tempo, and then you can of course pivot into parrot turkey. So it works out pretty well that way. Here I'm just buying some crickets, some spiders. I don't even have a horse. I think buying a spider and then pilling it is kind of a fine strategy. I wouldn't really recommend going for a level 2 spider and pilling it. I just wanted to do it just because it's more fun this way. I get an early sheep, so we already have 3 summons, but no horse. I just think that like horse in general, it really doesn't do too much, especially once garlic armor is unlocked, which is round 5. It's a tier 3 item, and that just kind of destroys summoning builds, because most of the time you'll have like 3 or 4 attack on your units, which means you're really going to be doing like 1 or 2 damage with each attack, which is pretty much nothing. So we get pretty lucky, and I say we, I mean me. I keep doing that, and people call me out in chat, but I don't know. And then I immediately get like more turtles. It's kind of a weird thing to have a turtle at the front. It kind of makes it so like if you are going monkey scaling, then you're just going to be buffing your turtle. I don't know if it's really that great, but like you can also go penguin and buff the turtle that way. But usually I just stick with pilling the turtles and then opening up that spot for something else. Here I get another sheep too, so we got a level 2 sheep, and then immediately, I mean, you gotta go for it. You pill the sheep, get 2 level 2 rams, combine for a level 3 ram, and I was just hoping for bison. Maybe you've heard of this strat before. I know that NL has mentioned it, and it's kind of funny. I think he took it from someone, I don't remember who invented it, so sorry since I'm forgetting the person's name, but it's kind of interesting. You do get a 7/7 ram that's kind of useless, but it is a level 3. Is it worth it? I would say no, but maybe it can work in Arena. You can see the parrot deer just absolutely destroyed a lot of teams, because sometimes you don't even one-shot the bus, and so if you get 2 splash attacks off, most things do not have 10 health, so you're going to kill the thing behind it. Here, like, I need the space for the eventual turkey, and also just, like, all the summoning builds in general. You're going to completely pivot your team in order to, like, just go full summoning, so, like, the sheep and the swan probably aren't even going to stick around. I decided to go with the whale deer here, but then I realized, like, what is the parrot going to do? I still want to parrot the deer, but unfortunately, whale parrot actually doesn't really work. It does spawn the parrot after the whale dies, but the parrot loses its ability for whatever. I'm not really sure why this happens. We still get the 2 buses at the front, which is usually good enough, but you can see there that the last parrot did not spawn anything, so that's a little unfortunate. But we get the level 2 parrot, and we get the early turkey, so just very lucky. Of course, it's only 1 round early, so it's not a huge deal. The other advantage of the turkey is that it gives +3/+3 to anything that you just buy, as long as you have the open spot on your team. I buy a can just because, like, I don't know, why not? I could have taken a spider there, but I was a little more greedy, and I just wanted the good units, which is mostly just rooster and deer. I don't even think fly is really that necessary with the optimal summoning build. I would just stick with parrot turkey, and then, like, a level 3 rooster, 1-up deer, and then whatever you want in front. But like 1-up deer and roosters are usually the way to go. Those seem like the best options for the late game summoning build. And you can see 14 buses plus another parrot that's getting plus, like, all the summons are getting +9/+9 already, and it's only turn 9. This is the huge advantage of having a parrot, because it's a tier 4, you're unlocking it earlier than turkey, which means you can maybe get it to level 2 by the time that turkeys are unlocked, and things just look really good from here on out. I did kind of get really lucky this game for sure, but like It shows the possibility that summoning builds can be kind of viable in Arena. Again, not in Versus, but like in Arena where teams aren't exactly the most optimal, a lot of things can work. And I think summoning builds, they're kind of like the beginner build. A lot of people who just start playing the game will think like, okay, this is the strat to go. And you can see we're spawning just absolute destroyers of teams. 14 buses with splash attack, not to mention like you're spawning the original deer that becomes a 10-10, so that's pretty great. And I get another turkey here. I'm combining just to get that +3/+3, and now we got level 2 turkey, and I take the rooster, which immediately gets +6/+6, so it's already a 13-10. That's like a lot of cans worth of buying, so that's a pretty huge buff that I think is what makes turkey actually like a decent unit, because even if you don't go summoning build, you can still just buy it for the kind of buff stats. And here, like, that was kind of close, but we still managed to win. It's turn 11, so if you're gonna go summoning build, you do want to make sure that you're not drawing a lot of games, because if you do, then you're probably gonna lose later games. You want to make sure that you're on pace to win like rounds 13 to 14, or like end the game around there, because otherwise you might just lose the last few. It obviously depends a lot on the matchmaking and the teams you get. I was thinking about going to sheep here. You can put a sheep in the third spot and give it a 1-up so that it will spawn another sheep, which will spawn a ram, and that's like, it's pretty decent, but you are missing out on that one extra summon. And I think just like late game, deer and roosters are better than sheep, because like you can get 3 spawns out of the rooster if it's level 3 anyway. And you can see we're getting, what was that, like an 18-9 or something already. It's just pretty good. I guess we're getting +12/+12, so it'd be 18-13. I can 1-up the rooster so that it spawns another thing. I mean, it's pretty similar to 1-upping the sheep. 1-up in general is just really good with summoning builds, because obviously you get more summons. And now we got level 2 rooster, so it's going to spawn that level 2, it's going to spawn 2 roosters, and then another level 2 1/1 rooster that's going to get +12/+12, which then the spawn itself is also going to get +12/+12. So the last slot is pretty interesting. I think generally like the rooster and deer is good, but what are you going to do with the last spot? You could even go with like a scaling, since the problem with summoning builds is that you have no scaling. So what are you going to do late game? You're just going to have like these 10-10 roosters or 10-10 turkeys. You could go with like a penguin or a cat or cows, but it's probably not going to keep up with other team scaling that are using like penguin monkey or like penguin cat or dragon. Those will probably outscale you pretty quick, which is why you're going to lose late game kind of no matter what. But luckily, it's only turn 13, and this is going to be the last round, and we got a really good team. This is pretty much what you want. You could maybe put like a deer or rooster in front and give it like stake attack. That way you might kill their strongest unit. That would work pretty well. And this seems like a good team, right? They even have a crocodile, but we still are able to win. So it shows kind of the power of summoning builds. It's a very good strat for like, again, rounds 9 through 14, 15, something like that. So if you want to go for this in Arena, you can definitely get to 10 wins. I wouldn't say it's the most consistent, but it's definitely a way to do it. Anyway, thanks for watching. See ya.